Karen, start off with, we've got a lot of memorabilia from the FA Cup win 20 years ago. How does it feel to look at all of that again?
Yeah, it's 20 years. It's a crazy time. But no, I think if I look back here, and I look back at this, I have memorabilia at home. I've got my shirt that's up in my mum's house. I've got lots of pictures that all represent that day and the meaning behind it. And I still look at it and remember it as if it was yesterday.
Is there any standout moments from that final that you think back to quite a lot?
I think because the women's game 20 years ago wasn't as high profile, I guess, as now. The FA Cup is always the game that was the highlight of the calendar, and everyone wanted to play in it because it was televised. The crowds, there was some huge crowds. We were playing in fantastic stadiums. We were playing at Upton Park, which is a huge stadium, and I just remember the coach journey on the way to the ground, and seeing Charlton fans, seeing young and old supporters of the women's game. When you arrive at the stadium, you feel the atmosphere, you feel the adrenaline and the excitement, and we knew we had to go on that pitch and perform and try and get that result. We'd had a couple of setbacks, and we knew we'd experienced that excitement, that build-up, and we'd also felt that disappointment. We played in a couple of cup finals previously to this one, and we just fell short. So we knew what that feeling was like to not win, and that disappointment after. So we had all these emotions and feelings as a team, and we'd gone through a lot of lows, but at the same time it was a highlight, and it was something that you was excited to be a part of, and we just knew that we had 90 minutes to try and make history for Charlton. And so yeah, the build-up, I always remember the build-up, always had breakfast together. We'd stayed overnight with each other in the hotels. We had a fantastic team bonding experience, and we'd been together a long time, so we'd gone through a lot of those disappointments together, and we knew that this was going to be our time, and we just needed to go out there and believe that we could get that win. And thankfully, see, we was managed to do that with a 1-0 win at Upton Park in front of, I think it was about 26,000 people, and it was just an unbelievable feeling, and I'm just proud that we was able to win that game after the disappointment in the last couple.
Yeah. And how do you think winning the FA Cup as a player influenced your career, but also as a manager now?
I always think that the FA Cup is a special cup, and always will be in the women's calendar. It's now being played at Wembley in front of 90,000. So the transformation over the last 20 years has been incredible. And to see them now walk out at Wembley in front of 90,000 fans is something every player should be aspiring, and every coach and manager wants to be a part of. It's very difficult now to get to the FA Cup. There's a lot of fantastic teams that all want to do the same. But my experience of those moments will always be held when I'm a manager and when the FA Cup draw gets announced. I always talk about those moments and what it felt like, and I want my players and I want Charlton to try and revisit that. However, it's very, very difficult, but you have to believe, and it's a cup game, which everyone knows that you can be an underdog in the cup game, and sometimes that little bit of belief, that little bit of luck can come through. And so every time you get the draw, you want to play, you want to try and get as far as you can in the competition, and that's what we've tried to do here at Charlton, as me being a manager. And we've had some success. We got into the quarterfinals last season, the season before, when we played Brighton. We was pipped 1-0. Obviously played Spurs last season, and again got pipped 1-0 against teams that are in the division above. So we've come a long way. I always say to the players that if we ever get opportunities to play in these big games, like, enjoy it and go there with that belief that what the team has and what you're held yourself to all season is you want to be winners. And if I can install that in these players, which we do, but yeah, the FA Cup is a dream to play in, and I always make a bit of a joke and say to the players, has anyone won an FA Cup medal in this changing room? And obviously I can say that I do.
Amazing. And what does it mean to you to be the manager of Charlton Athletic after having achieved such an amazing milestone?
Yeah, it was obviously coming out of a job that I was in before. I was in that job for a long time and saw a lot of highs, and then to come into to have the opportunity to come into Charlton, where my career took off, and where I held so many fond memories. It was an honour. I knew that there was a huge piece of work that needed to be done. We had to take the team from part-time to full-time. So I knew it wasn't going to be easy, and that it was going to be another journey. We needed to work really hard, build a squad, build a team behind the team. And we're 4 years in, and we've done incredibly well. And I'm super proud of what we're achieving at this moment in time against some great teams in the championship. It's probably been the toughest championship. Lots more resources. The landscape of women's football has generally changed, and I look at how much resources teams have now, the more professionalisation of the teams, that's the bigger the staffing groups. The one thing that's probably that hasn't changed, that has got smaller, is the size of the kits. When we was wearing kits, they were big kits, whereas now the kits fit, which is an achievement. But I think that's the only thing that's got smaller in the women's game.
Amazing. And just finally, is there any advice that you would give to your team that you've learned from the FA Cup win in 2005?
I don't think it's just that one game. For me, it's being part of a team that has this belief. You might not have the resources that other teams have, but what we do here is we do the best we do with what we have. We develop players, old and younger, and we develop the staff. And I'm super proud of that, and I'm super proud of our journey that we've been on. I want it to continue. I want us to be progressive. I want us to keep pushing Charlton to be a force to be reckoned with in the championship. And at this moment in time within the women's game, there's only one team that gets promoted, and any manager and the player knows that getting promoted is a difficult thing to do. You have to have consistency, you have to have a little bit of luck along the way, and most of all you have to have a team that enjoy coming to work. And I enjoy coming to work every day. I enjoy being around the staff, I enjoy being around the players. We have an unbelievable group of people in the building, and because I enjoy coming in and I enjoy working with these players who are very coachable, great people, and we're all on a mission to succeed and try and do everything we can for ourselves and for Charlton, and for the future of women's football. We want to keep inspiring the next generation of Charlton players and Charlton fans. And for me, it's not just what we do on the pitch, it's what we do off the pitch is really important. And as a club, we want to continue to be progressive, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
Amazing, and congratulations on an amazing anniversary.
Thank you.